So Japanese people usually bow rather than do handshakes when meeting someone. This results in quite some funny interactions when Japanese people interact with foreigners, because they still want to do their bow, right? But they also need to give their hand to shake. They do a simultaneous bow and handshake. When I encountered a group of young students who wanted to practice their English with me, I decided to teach them the proper way how to do a handshake. At first, of course, they still messed it up sometimes. But as they got more practice, they became perfect handshakers. Alright everybody, so I don't just have good news, I have great news. At the time of this recording, I have hit over 13,000 followers on TikTok! Yeah! Well anyways, if you don't know me, my name is Nico, aka The Red Value, and I love learning about Japan basically, and that is why I created this kind of fun fact series. So I can learn about Japan, and then share it with you. Let's go! More fun facts. Why in Japan? You are American, even if you aren't. You see, after the Second World War, Japan was imposed to become a peaceful nation by the Americans. The American military now protects Japan. Yeah! And as such, in the last century, most encounters with foreigners that the Japanese had were with American military personnel. And despite there now being a much bigger variety in foreigners in Japan, the idea that they are Americans still persists until today. And that is why in Japan, you are American, even if you aren't. In Japan, shop owners typically try to stand out from the competition by putting really cool stuff in and around their building. Even some bigger companies do it, like the Asahi Brewing Company, who kind of wanted to show off their swag by making their corporate building look like a beer. Yeah! Then they also made another building and put it next to it, which is supposed to represent a kind of flame. Sometimes things just don't come out as well as they'd hoped, because in Japan people call that building the Kinunchi, aka the golden poop. Oh boy. Japan is a country completely surrounded by the sea, and typically these kind of countries, they never ever have snowfall in them because the sea acts as a kind of heat reservoir. But Japan is actually well known for being the country with the largest snowfalls in the world actually. Yeah, and that is due to Japan's rather lucky geography, as they are situated south of Siberia, so very cold Siberian winds blow towards Japan, giving the north of the country, and just the north, an insane amount of snowfall. Awesome! It's over 8,000! With a popular meme, it's over 9,000. It's over 8,000 in the Japanese original. Did the localization team make a mistake? No! They did it on purpose. Words, despite officially meaning the same thing in different languages, sometimes have completely different impact. That is what the translators are trying to attempt. They change the words to preserve the original meaning. And that's crazy! In Japan, politeness is the commandment number one. So it is oftentimes really easy to get Japanese people to agree to do something. For example, ask someone for help for directions or ask them to take a picture for you. In their minds, it would be rude not to. People will say yes, despite actually not wanting to do so. And it is your call of duty to notice that they're uncomfortable with it and back off. Sometimes it did happen to me that I asked a Japanese person for something, them saying yes and me not noticing that they were actually uncomfortable with it. Those times I deeply regret. In Japan, when filling out a form, the circle is usually used to confirm something, while a cross is usually used to cancel or decline something. Fun fact, let's take a look at the PlayStation controller, and we can see that there is both a circle as well as a cross. And in this case, in games, oftentimes a circle is then used to confirm something, whereas the cross is used to cancel or something. So you know how we kind of count like in steps of 1,000, 1,000, a million, a billion, a trillion, Jeff Bezos. But in Japan, this is actually completely different because they count in steps of 4 zeros. Yeah, 10,000 actually becomes 1 man. Awesome. This actually makes translating numbers quite a bit more tricky because not only do you have to translate the words, you also have to do a little bit of maths. To me, it's actually kind of really crazy how something that is just so normal or standard is just completely different in Japan. That's awesome. Yeah. The thing is, in the late March or beginning of April, I started my journey doing short videos, and so far since then, I've managed to nearly upload a video a day. Of course, I was at first hesitant to upload those to YouTube, as YouTube tends to like longer videos more, and as it turns out, it kind of somewhat killed my channel, uploading them now recently. So I got the feedback. I will be
not uploading the fun facts videos directly, not all of them, let's just say that, not the daily ones. But I will be continuing doing these compilations, and I honestly have quite a lot of fun making these. It's always I can always like experiment with the footage and stuff, and I can make things just look wacky and weird, and it just kind of fits, and I love that. You know, these kind of fun facts, I think I've found my calling. That is the things that I will be doing. Fun facts about Japan. Awesome. Let's keep going.
I absolutely adore traveling Japan. It's absolutely fascinating to see the temples, the landscape, and of course the vending machines. But what makes that really special? Understanding what is exactly behind these things. Why are there so many vending machines everywhere? And how is it that they can still make a profit despite there being so many of them? These are the questions that are the cherry on top of my travels around Japan. And that is what I have my deepest passion for. And that is what I want to make my channel this 1 year about. The Japanese are really well aware that their customs are quite unique in the world, and as such, they're actually quite tolerant of foreigners doing mistakes. So never ever worry about making mistakes over there, or being socially awkward. As long as you have a good attitude, you'll go a really long way in Japan, and I guarantee that, because the Japanese are just that awesome. So polite. Whoa. So just before I wanted to film a video today, this happened. Yeah, this is actually a laceration, and there's literally 2 staples in me right now. So how did it happen? So for the purpose of filming videos, I oftentimes, do random, erratic, energetic movements beforehand. It helps me to, get pumped for the video. As I was doing that, what happened is I managed to accidentally punch the door. Yeah, it actually still hurts right now, but this is what I do for the TikTok videos, so I really hope you appreciate that. In Japan, there is something called the PlayStation Lottery. Yes, when you pre-order stuff in Japan that is in short supply, such as video game consoles on launch, you get a lottery ticket. And close to the launch of the device, you will then be told whether you won or not. Your chance to buy a PlayStation. And this system is actually really, really genius. Now everybody gets a chance to buy the thing, regardless of their ability to press the pre-order button fastest. It also kills all the scalpers. Yes! Japan is ahead in everything, even in my PlayStation pre-order. Heck yeah! Japan is exactly like a video game. So one thing that I always found strange when playing Pokemon or other Japanese video games is that you always tend to get free stuff if you just go and talk to someone. And I thought, that's not realistic. Well, but then I went sightseeing to Japan, to Kyoto Mizudera, where I ran into a group of young students who were eager to practice their English with me. And afterwards, as a kind of token of appreciation, they gave me postcards and food. Yes, snacks from their region. And then it dawned on me that Japan is exactly like a video game. Many foreigners living in Japan oftentimes say that they have completely different personalities when they speak in Japanese. Have you heard of the saying before that you are the average of the 5 people closest to you? Well, think about it. You speak Japanese and English for the purpose of speaking to different people. And as such, you end up encountering different people when you speak different languages. And as such, you end up mimicking their personalities instead in that language. And that's why this multiple personality thing happens. Awesome. Japanese native speakers oftentimes struggle to find someone to practice English with. Yeah, because there are only few English native speakers in Japan. And to solve that issue, English teachers in Japan sometimes find really creative solutions. One of these I found out when I went to Kyoto, to the Kyoto Mizudera temple site, where I encountered groups of students who flocked to me to practice their English. And as it turns out, their English teachers organized field trips to high touristy areas in an attempt to find foreigners to speak English to. That's a brilliant solution, actually. Japanese video games are different to their Western counterparts. This can actually be explained again through Japanese culture. When a developer pitches a game in the Western world, usually the questions are, what is the story like? What is the world? Tell us more about the characters. Whereas in Japan, the questions are, what is the gameplay? What kind of new ways to play can you find? Because of these different questions, different kinds of games are made, and we get a huge variety of awesome games out of it. That's just awesome. So this is Tatsui, my girlfriend who lives in Japan. We met during my student exchange over there nearly 2 years ago, and something just clicked back then. And we stayed together despite me having to leave Japan. A few months afterwards, however, I went again to Japan And together we made many journeys there. We climbed Mount Fuji and also took a cruise around the whole of Japan as well. And a few months later after that, just before Corona crisis hit, I went again to Japan and experienced the cherry blossoms with her. Each time we met, our bond it got stronger, and you could say that we've fallen in love. But right now, thanks to the Corona crisis, we can't meet anymore, and I don't know how long it's gonna take. In the end, it will be worth it, I am sure of that. But I can't say it's not hard.